5.
Excellent.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Storytime Network's very own Paradox Hour. Oh, it's been a bit of a week for manga in general, with a very disputed series coming to an end.
But we're not here to talk about that series. We're here to
Yes, we're
talk about
here
One
to talk
Piece.
about a good series
Ding dong,
that will
Attack on Titan's
hopefully
dead.
have
Hooray.
we will hope we're talking about a good series where hopefully it's not going to have an ending where One Piece was the friends we made along the way.
Oda has actually said in an interview
I
that
know
that is
he
not
said
the
he
case.
won't. I know he said it won't be, but he has lied at least once before.
Fair enough.
You could have,
Cherry pie man.
yeah. So you could have a fun little inversion of that if it turns out like Frankie is made of some priceless metal. That could work.
Oh, we're gonna have fun talking about Frankie.
What if Frankie was One Piece the whole time?
I somehow doubt that.
Hmm.
Anyways,
So yes, we're
talking
talking about
about
the
the
Water Seven
actual.
Saga.
Yeah.
For One Piece, joining us is Mill, our resident Attack on Titan hate reader.
I don't have to hate read it anymore. It's dead. I'm so glad.
Yeah, but you did stick with it through the whole thing out of sheer
out of
visceral
sheer
hate.
out of sheer spite, so that if anyone said, "Oh no, it gets better," no, it doesn't get better, and I can officially say that now.
Anyways,
Joining us also is our resident best boy appreciator, Jack.
why hello there.
General Kenobi.
And joining us is our current canary, aka guinea pig, for reading One Piece blind, Logstar.
Oh, can you hit the right button on the foot pedal? Right button on the foot pedal.
There you go. And of course, joining us as always, even though only in the form of a single haunting image. Give it up for Panda, everybody!
I'm
I don't-
still looking for Panda, by the way.
I don't actually have him up today. I couldn't find a good place to
That's
hide
why I
him.
couldn't find them.
I couldn't find
It's
a good
kinda
place to
hard.
hide
God,
He'd
the
be pretty
one
obvious.
time
Yeah.
I remembered.
him.
Dick move, Mill.
Anyways, War 7 Saga in general is considered by a large chunk of the fandom to be peak One Piece.
Not me.
Like one of the best story arcs of One Piece.
Not
I
me.
know, Mill, you are in the minority on that.
Oh,
Like-
God damn it! Right now, Mill. I see it. I see what you did.
I
Yes,
put it
we
on
all
now.
see
Yeah, I do want to get Logstar's overall opinion on the saga before we dive into the meat and potatoes of it.
I think.
There's definitely some meat and potatoes in this saga, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, I've definitely had fun with a lot of the characterizations, a lot of just the way everyone was introduced. Though, I mean, you know what I go for and what I don't. So there are a lot of things where I'm going to be even quieter and or dumber than usual if that's possible, because I'm always like, okay, no, okay, nice flash. Oh, that's where it all comes from. Fight scene, fight scene, fight scene, fight scene. Oh, there we go. So it's
No,
like there's
no,
that
but
mix,
like, you realize there's an entire community in like an entire fairly large, like I would even say it's like close to the it's not quite the majority, but a fairly large chunk of the community basically does exactly what you do, right? Where they skip through the fight scenes and just dig real deep into the plot. We remind me to introduce you to the Library of Ohara at some point, because that is where your people
We should
go.
probably wait until Logstar gets caught up because there's some deep cut lore there.
There's
that
a lot
goes
of deep
into
cuts and
spoiler
spoilers there.
territory.
But yes, basically what we're saying is there's an entire community of people who skip the fight scenes unless the fight scenes have important plot elements and characterization.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and
At
you
least
do
to
get
be
some,
fair. Oh, sorry.
yeah, I mean you do get some things that are let's just say I'm sure they're coming up many times again. Asura, triple, whatever thing was called.
Yes, Ashura. That one is an interesting one because I don't think it's actually been explained how exactly Zora does that.
I mean, it was kind of explained in chapter 1010 in
Spoilers,
part.
not out of the pool yet.
Oh, it's not out officially yet?
No,
Oh, it's
not
out
until
You
tomorrow.
guys are gonna love chapter 1010.
All right, don't say anything more then.
I'm going to,
Fuzz,
probably.
Fuzzy, you have notoriously loose lips.
Yeah, but
Like Fukuro here.
Yeah, but the ship has kind of already sunk. Get it? Because, I still cry every time I watch that scene.
Same. Tell me, Logstar, did you cry over the boat?
You
Well,
don't have to say yes.
Well, I didn't quite cry over it because I was like, they brought it back just for this. It's like, okay, they'd better explain where all this comes from in a better way later. They'd better. I know they're going. I know it's going to happen. But I was just like, okay, I'm waiting for the explanation on this one. I am waiting for an explanation. So
for
sometime around
why
like
the boat lived or was alive.
yeah, I'm assuming that's gonna be somewhere around 900. Given a lot of things so far.
It's partially explained here. Like the exact mechanics are explained, but this is very much one of those universes where everything kind of has a soul.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's actually going to be explained closer to 700.
No, closer to 800.
Fishman Island?
Oh, Fishman Island, that's 600.
Yes, Fishman Island, but then again on the with
Full cake.
Yes. No, not the one before. I mean, the elephant.
Yes, that's still around 800.
It's around 800. So yes, you are in fact correct. There will be an explanation, but for the time being, the explanation given here is think Shintoism, pantheism.
I can work with that for now.
Yes.
But yes,
Though,
you are
admittedly,
actually correct. There will be an explanation. It's just going to be several hundred chapters from 400 chapters from now.
It's a long time coming.
Yeah, a lot of things are a long time coming. But one thing I did pick up, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this thing is not connected to the merry-go, but it's like, I just saw the whole thing. It's like, yes, getting inanimate objects to eat devil fruits. It's like, okay, I know that's not the thing. It's probably not the thing going on here, but yeah.
We still don't have an explanation 1010 chapters in.
Yeah,
We've been
Vegapunk.
promised a thorough explanation, but we still don't quite have an explanation for it yet.
Vegapunk is still a no-show over 1,000 chapters into the manga, and we don't know when we're going to see him.
To be fair, okay, Logstar, to give you some context, Vegapunk is essentially the know-it-all of the One Piece universe. He's probably the most knowledgeable person in the One Piece universe, and the reason he hasn't showed up thus far is almost explicitly because if he shows up, all of the unanswered questions are basically... He's the one who has the answers to all of the unanswered questions.
All the answers, but a lot of the answers.
He has most of them, let's be real.
He probably doesn't know about the
most
Void
of them.
Century, because, yeah.
I'll admit, with that name, I just mainly thought of the name itself, and it just sounded like something. It sounds like a name like that has been rejected from many pieces of fiction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is in my world, this entire movement, this high-tech movement where, and it's like that point everyone just cuts them off. It's like, nope, new name.
Look, Oda doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, Oda does not care. And honestly, like, Robin, this entire saga does a lot to illuminate just how shady as fuck the world government is.
Yeah, they did basically commit what amounted to genocide.
Yeah, this is our first full-on on-screen genocide in the series. Second, technically, if you count Enru's attempted genocide in Skypiea.
I think we did see it coming, though.
Yeah, we haven't thus far we've met maybe 2 individuals who can be considered reasonable authority figures.
Yeah, Smoker and Tashigi.
No, I was kind of vaguely counting Aokiji as well.
Ah, yes.
Right? Like you can technically count Aokiji and Smoker as the two authority figures. Well, Smoker and Tashigi are kind of a package deal.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is when it's two out of many. Well, I guess
We
since
also get
we're
Since
but
we are
he's not
talking about
exactly reasonable.
since we are talking about Water 7, we do meet another one in this saga.
yes, Garp. Well, okay, so you know what? We're kind of going out of order, but at this point, that this is just what we do. Uh, what were your thoughts on the revelations of Luffy's lineage?
Well, I mean, one thing, yeah, that's quite the family line right there. But of course, and of course, then you get the fact that, like, oh yeah, just making sure I read this right. Oh yeah, I kind of have to pretend we're going after him because I kind of stupided and said and talked about my grandson, like near a transceiver. It's like, okay, so the dumbass is at best
It's
skipping
genetic,
a
yes.
generation. It's at best
It-
skipping a generation, but we'll
Yes.
see if it's in the middle or not soon. I have the feeling.
Yeah, no,
Well,
we
not
haven't
soon,
actually.
like 500 chapters.
No.
I'm assuming.
Again, are you? We have a payoff for a chapter. This is Lockstar. This is your first long-term payoff.
Actually, no. The first long-term payoff is Oimonkashi.
What?
They pay off Dorian Bragi.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's not particularly important. Let's be real.
It's
When
not,
was
but
that?
it's still a nice Chekhov's gun thing.
Yeah, but this is the first. This is the first long-term payoff involving a relevant main character.
True. That is true.
And Doria and Bragi are at best related to Usopp, and who cares about him at this point in the story?
I do.
I
He
did.
gets a lot of development in the saga.
Yes, that was the joke.
His and Luffy's
The
fight
fact
was
that this
one
is
of the
one of the
better
most
ones
important-
this saga.
Yeah.
So yes, but as far as main cast goes, this is probably the single biggest payoff that Logstar has experienced so far, right? Well, we know why Dragon saved Luffy's butt in Logtown, Roguetown, Logetown, Rougetown, Satan Town. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't remember what the correct
It's
pronunciation is.
Logtown.
Just-
As in prologue and epilogue.
See, that's more clever than I am, so I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist. Yeah, so Logstar, speaking of logs. Oh wow, great mnemonic there. Yeah, Dragon showed up in chapter 100 to save Luffy. Now we know why.
So basically, there's a plan there, and
Well,
yeah, there's a plan there.
we don't necessarily know that. It could be. So we haven't seen enough of Dragon to know whether or not the idiot Gene skips a generation.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a plan. There's a plan like everywhere, so you know.
True. But yeah, so that was essentially 18 years worth of birthday gifts for being a deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat parents are kind of a theme in One Piece. Either deadbeat or dead. But we get
There's
more
also-
into that more later on too.
Yeah, so
Also, I just need to remark, there is no way Dragon is a given. Is that like the name he was actually given, or is that like just the name he
I
took?
mean, you've met his dad. I'm pretty sure his dad would absolutely name his only son Dragon.
Well, I mean, still, Dragon's the kind of name where it's like, you either name... It's like, if that's a given name, that's a parent asking for trouble. Otherwise, it's a stage name for porn. It's one or the other. There
Let's
are
be
no
real,
other-
I
Logstar.
mean,
Garp is the definition of asking for trouble with his descendants.
Yeah, but Garp
Yeah,
is like
Garp-
a string of letters.
Garp is the name of a fish. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but overall, it's a string of letters the way it's done. It's a little, off of that, right?
hey, maybe that's why he decided to name his kid Dragon.
Either that or Garp is kind of an idiot, which again.
No,
common-
we already know this. This is a truth we take to be self-evident that Garp is an idiot, but like, I think we can pretend there might be other reasons.
True. But yeah, speaking of Garp, we get another payoff with him regarding Kobe and Helmeppo,
Oh
which is
yeah.
I think the second big cover story payoff after the Buggy cover story back in East Blue.
It is kind of interesting that Kobe. It's still very unclear whether Garp took Kobe in on his own initiative or if it had something to do with Luffy.
I mean, the whole it might have been that he got interested. Kobe caught his attention because of his connection to Luffy, but Garp really took an active interest because of Kobe's spirits and potential.
That is probably a fairly reasonable middle ground, I think.
It's
Logstar.
one of those you had my curiosity, now you have my attention type things.
I should hope it wasn't that. Garp's a bit old for them.
Not that way. God damn it, Fuzzy.
You walked right into that one.
I'll admit, I did start with the dragon joke, so apologies for.
No.
That.
No, it's fine. It's
not
fine.
your fault. Fuzzy's mind automatically goes to the gutter, Logstar.
Look, it's not my fault Oda is perpetually horny.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
Dare you to take one look at both the male and female character designs in this series and tell me Oda is not perpetually horny.
I mean, come on. Then there was Nami with the whole so sexy and the thing, at that one
Oh
point.
god, the whole
And it's like,
Nami
okay, that
Kumipa
yeah,
fight
it's like
was...
that is the line that launched 1,000 ships right there.
No,
I'm pretty sure there's
you're
a
not
strong
wrong.
consensus in the fandom that Nami is at least partially into women.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
I
she's
I thought that line was better than that, personally. Sorry.
No, it's perfectly reasonable, and I have to wonder, considering the fact that Oda does have a tendency to make the men hot too.
Yeah.
The Jack is like technically straight, and even he agrees.
I mean, I can understand the attractiveness of the design regardless of my orientation. And I have seen the legions of screaming fangirls and fanboys for Zoro and Sanji and so on and so forth.
Were you guys aware that Zoro is rocking the triple earring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did not know about it until Logstar pointed it out to me a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what the hell? How did you see what? How did you not notice that? It's like, I mean, the whole thing was like me being like, I'm jealous. I couldn't pull that off. He could, and it's like, what? It's like, you haven't noticed this up until this point? Like, God, I can't even rock. I can't rock triple. God.
And yet
Look.
Zoro can somehow.
I mean, many people, including the people at his dojo, said he couldn't rock the triple, and it's possible he may have taken their words a bit too much to heart.
Zoro would be the type of person to take that shit literally.
Yeah.
Oh, though, Logstar, how did you feel about Zoro getting all assertive this arc?
Okay, which assertive thing in particular? Because I have like the 100-something chapters of notes to go over.
The one
He
at
puts
the
his
end
foot
with
down
Usopp.
Yeah, regarding Usopp.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that's definitely. Well, Oh yeah, I'm trying to figure. It's like that. I'll admit that was something at the end where.
Both during Water 7 and after Ennie's lobby, he puts his foot down about Usopp.
Well, I mean, Usopp does kind of have to like chill at least in a certain way, so little push is good. It's all on what would have happened afterward if it had taken a little longer to to actually.
Own up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Usopp gets a lot of character development in this saga, and it's anyone who says One Piece doesn't have character development, like, have you read the Water
they just
7
haven't read
saga?
the series. They just haven't read the series. Like I had to restrain myself. I'm in a Discord server for Will White's Cradle. Great series, by the way. Someone compared a web novel called The Wandering Inn, which apparently takes 300 to 800 pages to get good. Yeah, which is a lot to take in. And I was like, that's kind of a tall ask. And then someone said, oh, like One Piece. And then someone said something that just makes me very mad. They said, except One Piece never gets good. And I'm just like, you. Ooh, I would never confront you in public, but I am allowed to talk crap about you on my own One Piece podcast. Like, seriously?
I mean, some people just have shit opinions.
Right? Though there are people we know even who are like, yeah, I'd love to get into One Piece, but it's too long. It's worth it though. Lockstar, would you say it's been worth it thus far getting into One Piece, even though it's like 400 years long?
Well, I'll admit one thing that has helped it has just been this whole thing where it's like it actually also seems a little useful for me to get into it, even just to play the role of the village idiot, even though I play that too often already. But
I mean, that said, I do like you, but you have been enjoying the character moments, as you've said.
yeah, but without a role as the village idiot, I probably wouldn't have made it through East Blue.
East Blue is
You
kind
know
of the
what?
weakest saga in the
It
series.
is a bit of a rough start, yeah. Still, I'm glad we were able to at least get you that far, so that you actually can enjoy it now.
Yeah.
But yes, shall we go chapter by chapter now that we've gushed a little bit?
Chapter by chapter might be a bit much.
Well, you know
because
what I
that's
mean,
over 100.
like story beat by story beat.
Yeah, so Water 7 is a really fun arc that seems to start off really light, but gets more and more tense as it goes on, and that's actually reflected in the weather as the story goes on, because it gets slowly and but surely more and more turbulent as the Straw Hats start falling apart, which I think is great symbolism on Oda's part.
Mm.
Especially since this is, it's not just kind of a, well, it is a plot occurrence, but the fact of the matter is this is I forget what the name is.
Aqua Laguna.
Aqua Laguna. I'm pretty sure it's at least partially based on El Nino and El Nina, right?
Probably. I think it's actually based off of Venice's annual, off of Venice, partially. Water 7 is based off of Venice, if you couldn't guess.
Yeah, no, yeah, city on water of the canals and everything. Logstar, your notes would probably come in handy here. What do you got for us as far as interesting points? You can go in chronological order.
Oh God, well, okay, I'll start with guess I'll be starting with them. Oh gosh, give me a second. Give me a second. Actually, you guys just start
Okay,
this.
while he's doing that,
Chapters.
the Aqua Laguna does come from a similar phenomenon in Venice.
So it is a phenomenon sort
Yes.
of deal.
Yeah.
Similar, but much less important.
Oh, you know what? I think there might have been an SBS asking
there
if
was.
Aqua Laguna was related to El
Yes,
Nino.
it was.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of then.
Well, no. The question is, hello, Oda Sensei. I have a question. On TV, they were saying how the city of Water Venice has a high tide called the Aqua Alta, which forces all townspeople to wear long boots. Is this what the Aqua Laguna in Water 7 is modeled upon? Which to which the answer was yes.
So I don't know what's better, the fact that Oda puts this much thought into it, or the fact that there's regularly fans who just relatively easily can just figure this stuff out.
Why not both?
It is great though, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think especially well, I think fans are a lot smarter than some people give them credit for. I mean, look at fucking Gravity Falls.
Well,
Some
it's
fans,
the
some fans, in some
it's the
measures.
person versus people
Yeah.
argument, isn't it? A fan is smart. The fandom is just a trash fire.
Mm.
Depends on the fandom, but overall, yes.
Yeah, I'd also like to remind you that with just with all the online things, hey, you just need one person to notice, right? You just need one person to look up the right thing, then everybody's gonna know like immediately, right?
Well, back
Yeah.
then, possibly not.
Yeah, when was Water
Well, that-
7
Chapter-
current?
chapter-
That was starting,
Chapter
though. It was
600
starting at that point.
Chapter 363 about Aqua Laguna was April 18th, 2005.
Well,
Fuck.
that's definitely
God.
late enough. That is definitely late enough for
No,
that, though.
There were definitely online message boards. I remember there was Arlong Park was a thing at the time.
Oh god.
Does anyone remember Arlong Park?
God. Not the
No.
ARC, the actual website.
Yeah, so Arlong Park, for those of you who don't know, was one of the earliest and longest running scanlation forums in a time in the early internet. Like in a time when there was really no way of reliably getting an official release, even for something like One Piece. Especially not like any sort of decent translation, and like it was basically all fan based. Arlong Park was kind of, it got shut down at one point, but it was basically the world's haven for especially what, obviously considering the name, One Piece related forums and discussions. So like, God, that was a wild ride, huh?
Mm-hmm. Anyways, back to the arc itself. Water 7 is an interesting genre shift from most other arcs, because it feels a lot like a mystery thriller at several points, where it's basically just like there's this initial mystery of where's Robin and why did she do what she did, as well as the increasing sense that there is something going on and we have no idea what exactly it is. And I think Oda plays with that really well tonally throughout this arc.
Okay, while Rockstar is still getting its notes, I will say I really liked the Water 7 arc because I found I found Frankie really interesting as an antagonist fighting Luffy.
That was interesting and fun, yeah.
And you know, another fucking badass moment in terms of the walk to Frankie's house.
Oh, that was a fun
There were
bit right
several badass walks this arc, huh?
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Though I just have to say with Frankie though, part of me was like, okay, which one are they gonna get? Part of me is hoping it's like, please don't be Frankie. Please don't be Frankie right now. I mean, this dude's like vicarious embarrassment, like personified. Luckily it seemed to, luckily that just seemed to be played up at the beginning, but it was like, please don't give us walking vicarious embarrassment. just glad things went from there, even though last bit kind of means there will still be plenty of vicarious embarrassment in the future.
I mean, the good
Frankie, I think, is an excellent showcase of Oda being able to turn the reader's opinion around on a character.
Yeah, but the really good thing about Frankie is that he was probably the only Straw Hat that I didn't know about pre-reading One Piece. So when he actually joined, it was a genuine surprise to me.
So, funnily enough, I thought Frankie was Brooke. Let me give you
What?
some context. So I had to, for a long time, I wasn't really able to get my hands on One Piece material, even though I watched the god-awful 4Kids dub up to Alabasta as a child. I wasn't able to get my hands on One Piece, at least not nearly to the extent that I wanted to. So what I ended up having to do is like vicariously experience it through various wikis.
Yeah.
And at the time, I wasn't aware that because I was an internet novice, I wasn't aware that there was, you know, a wiki for everything. So I literally just looked at One Piece on Wikipedia.
Oh my god.
And so it had a list of Straw Hats, and it was like all text, no pictures, and everything. And
Yeah.
for some reason, in a bout of maybe like partial dyslexia, not dyslexia, but you know what I mean, I kind of skipped over the fact that they got a cyborg shipwright, and but I also skipped over Brooke's name, so I thought that they got a skeleton musician named Frankie
Huh.
at some point in the future.
Well, I mean, I also just need to ask because I kind of didn't see Frankie coming as the as the future governor and all that, but I kind of at first I got the whole feel where it was like he'd be like the Buggy of this arc. That's what I was getting at first.
I think that was very much intentional on Oda's part, right? I think Oda like tried very hard to give that.
He pulled the bait and switch off
in...
really well, I think.
Okay, it just wasn't me being dumb. Oh, and for the record, just saying, I know I was hoping that the whole thing would blow over, but then Milgavy's getting his notes out. It's like the whole point is I'm just trying to let you guys lead this one, so I don't have to start it up.
Fair enough.
Yes, no, but like
we just want your takes on various things.
Yeah, because like again, it's very rare to find someone who's reading One Piece for the first time in the wild. Right? Like, no, think about it. At this point, in the year of our Lord 2021, when One Piece is at 1,009 chapters of the English release and 1,010 chapters of the Japanese release,
no,
people have...
It hasn't come out officially
ahead,
in Japan either, has it?
No, I'm pretty sure Shonen Jump was released in Japan, and it was in Shonen Jump.
Regardless.
But yes, let's just call it 1,009 chapters. People are either already in for the long haul or are saying it's too big, I don't want to get into it.
Weekly Shonen Jump comes out on Mondays.
Yes. So 1/10/10 would be out.
No, it's
Today
still
is
Sunday in Japan.
Today is Saturday. And Sunday in Japan.
No, no, but we'll be getting 10/10. 10/10 was in
10/10 has
Monday,
not been
I'm
released
sure
officially.
1011 will release.
Fuzzy.
I'm pretty sure 1011 is releasing on Monday.
No, it's 1010. They get it the same week we do. Fuzzy, just take the L on this one.
Okay, no, I have no problems admitting that I look at leaks, but like I've already made my stance clear on the official release of One Piece, where I still don't forgive Viz for Zolo.
Oh.
I will buy all of the video game properties and subscribe for the anime, but I will not give Viz a cent.
Fair enough.
You have to get 2 of these in because I didn't even think about where I was going to throw one in this time. Sorry, man.
God damn it. We're still getting 2 Zolos.
Heck.
Also, I've hidden Panda Man again.
I'm pretty sure I've seen him multiple different times. Yep, I found him.
Easy one, yeah.
Damn. There really is no good place to hide him here.
It is kind of a very open image.
Anyways, getting back to the subject of this arc.
Getting back to the arc.
Still wouldn't be surprised if at some point you just said, "Oh, I put them in there," and you just didn't, and just like let us look for 7 minutes.
That'd be
That would be cruel.
That would be cruel, but it's definitely something Mill would laugh about.
Oh, I would laugh about it, but I'm not going to do it.
good. Anyways,
but yeah, getting back to the arc, I wish they had kept Frankie as the antagonist, because moving slightly onto Enies Lobby, I don't like Cypher Paul that much. I didn't find them that interesting.
I like them quite a bit, honestly.
Cypher Pole is very much bad guy and ensemble.
I certainly
17.
I certainly found Lucci like the most boring One Piece antagonist up to that point.
Ace, because he is.
I mean,
Right?
And
Like,
so I
Lucci
didn't
is...
care, and especially considering how long these two arcs are together, it's not especially well paced.
Yeah,
I will say that the fact that the arcs bleed together doesn't help it too much, but at the same time, like the Enies Lobby is basically one big climax, the build up that was started way back at the end of Long Long Land.
Like,
Quite frankly, Annie's Lobby is the climax of something that started at Logtown.
Yeah, basically.
Right? Like, because Annie's Lobby
Of the
is
story
very
so
much...
far.
like, they were always going to clash with the government. But with Annie's Lobby, they took the initiative, and it's something that very, very rarely happens to the totalitarian dictatorship that runs the world.
I will say, Cipher Pole thing that got me, the way I describe it among like the evil secret government force thing, the word that comes to mind for that is stock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cypherpole, at least Lucci especially, is very stock. Right?
Lucci, I feel like, is the least interesting member of them, because unlike the others, he does not have any funny personality quirks.
all he
barely
is,
has a
all he has is
personality.
the bird.
That was so disappointing because part of me was like, it's like I was hoping that it would be like some super intelligent bird or something. No, just Finch. It's like, damn it! I was thinking there'd be fun with that one.
To be
Nope,
fair,
just pull it away.
the bird is very intelligent.
And also, to be fair, it is funny that Luffy almost exclusively refers to him as Pigeon Guy.
Well, the pigeon's most interesting part, right?
That is the pigeon is literally the only thing, the only memorable part of Lucci. Maybe the facial hair, kind of.
I mean, there is also the fact that he murdered 500 prisoners in his backstory.
Yeah, that's
Meh.
not really interesting. This is, if you've seen this world, I'm pretty sure everyone in the government has a body count that makes Lucci, like every major player in the government has a body count like that.
Let's be honest. It's kind of, let's put it this way. Yeah, it's like you look at the body counts and all of that, and you almost think in terms of games where it's like you have your bosses and you have your trash mobs. Basically, you have the things that are going to murder everything, and you have the one hit point popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, it's like 500 people. It's like, yeah, all of them are one hit point popcorn. I'm sorry. World, that's the thing. It's like then you get to like, we sent all our troops in against them, and it's like, you know that's not going to work, right? You know that it's like this. It's like this is like 1 out of n for. Actually, well, I'm not going to say that. Like you have your 1 and you have your infinity. It's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think they'd learn, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
They just don't. They always just keep sending in the grunts.
500, 1,000, 2,000. It's like, okay, it's like pattern recognition, guys. Pattern recognition.
You know what's funny is that when they send in a bunch of captains against the Straw Hats at the end of Enies Lobby, they I think Zoro or Sanji says that that's the rank that Smoker was at. And when they manage to fight off all these captains at once, you realize Smoker is severely underranked for how powerful he is.
And Smoker is also kind of a nice dude. I wonder if those two things are related.
He has always come across as maverick, to be fair.
Could it possibly be that the decent human beings are undervalued in this evil totalitarian government power structure?
I mean, given that they
wonder.
outside at literal press of a button, I would not be surprised.
Yeah,
there are some. I mean, you know, that doesn't make entirely sense considering we said before this arc, one of the two like decent authority figures was Aokiji, who is literally an admiral, and then the one that we got introduced to this arc is Garp, who is a vice admiral. Like,
well, the thing with Garp is that this comes up later, but it's not really much of a spoiler. He actively refuses promotion to admiral every time a slot opens up.
That proves my point more, though.
Yes, no, it does. No, but like
The reason
no.
why is a spoiler though, and
I
I'm
think
not going.
no. Here's the thing though. Quantity versus quality. In this specific case, or rather, look at Aokiji, who's a decent guy and also the admiral, and then look at his two other fellow admirals.
He ate one of them in Robin's flashback, and he murdered a boatload of civilians.
For basically no reason other than the government said so.
Yeah, so basically, you can promote a few good people just to make sure they don't step out of line, but make sure they're surrounded by people who make sure they can't do anything. Is that more or less where this is going?
That's actually
Kinda.
a very
Yeah.
good
Summation,
of it.
yeah.
Yes. That's basically entirely it, because most of the other vice admirals and people of Garp's level are actively there to suppress him.
Yeah.
And hell, we see an example of this in the next arc, but I won't go that far. But yeah. So basically, they're very stock. Can we talk about just how stupid the rules around the Buster Call is?
Yeah. Let's also talk about Spandam and his idiocy in triggering it. Oh, we need to talk about Spandam too.
How he's one of the most detestable characters in the series introduced so far, and also kind of gives off some really R-wordy vibes, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. But he is very clearly a hate sink and one of the.
And look, Logstar, what were your thoughts on? Let's go individually. What were your thoughts on the major antagonists this season?
We already got your thoughts on Frankie a little bit, but what were your thoughts about the individual members of CP9 beyond Lucci being boring?
Beyond Lucci, well, yeah. There's a clear hate sink on this one. I just kind of.
Are you talking about Spandam or Jabra? Because you could be talking about either.
Though I will admit, some of them did kind of just bleed into one another for a while. I was like, It's like, I know you've got your skill, and I don't care about them. I'm sorry. You are a personality. I don't know what. And of
I think
course,
Kumadori probably suffers the most from that.
Yeah, but he's also one of the more entertaining ones.
He
Do you
does
remember
get
their
ruffled
names?
by Chopper.
Logstar, do you remember their names?
not all of them really, because I was kind of like, as I said, it's like the stock thing got me, where it's like, not interesting enough to remember you, blah blah. It's like, whatever, not interesting enough. It's like, okay, you've got a giraffe.
Which ones do you remember by name?
Well, Khalifa, I remember her mainly because the name sounds kind of like building, but.
Oh my god! It just occurred to me that. Oh no.
Okay, wait. Okay.
Yes.
And of course, the thing that she also had, like, the what I found the most
Bubbles.
No, she also had, wasn't she the one that had the most irritating little running joke?
Oh yeah, the harassment.
Yeah, that section is like, oh, it's like
that one
like,
is
that was
poorly
irritating. Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, that was so irritating. I had to remember.
And the funny thing about that is that basically all of the male characters in One Piece are either mostly asexual or Sanji.
It's a spectrum, but yeah, most of them don't really express much interest in romance or sex.
Mostly
or
because
if they do, it's like really subtle.
Mostly because we're fairly sure Oda doesn't want to write that.
He really
he
doesn't
says
write
that, but he's good at it. And
when he does
write
do it, he does it well. It's just he doesn't do it often.
Okay, let's see. Other things that came, like, just random fights, though. Like, one that kind of made me sad was it Wanza, or whatever the name is? However you say it?
Wanze.
Man?
Yeah.
Wanze.
Yeah.
Noodle
It's
Man.
like the raw men's suit, and it's like, I kind of want to cry right now for that joke. Why? That makes me so sad, the existence of that.
I think Sanji would agree with you on that front.
And of course, let's see, there's one minor one that came up with T-Bone, where it was like felt like something could have been done with that guy, but it wasn't.
T-Bone is actually used to illustrate that there are other good Marines besides Smoker, and because T-Bone's actually, despite his appearance, a really nice guy, but he's also an obstacle in the way of the Straw Hats mission. So they
Is
kind
it
of
bad
have
that
to
I
be.
don't remember which one that is?
T-Bone's the guy who has the really gaunt face, who cuts things really straight, and he starts tearing
Yep,
off
not.
pieces. He's
Ship
on the
cutter
train, and
T-Bone.
Zor. Yeah.
I really do. Oh, you know what? I basically just blank on the train fights.
Yeah.
Whenever I revisit Water 7, I skip the train.
It's not too bad, but it does feel like kind of like a stopgap for the actual main events.
It did feel like something could have been done with that guy that wasn't. I don't know why. I felt like there was something more could have been more interesting to work with him, because he seemed.
I believe
do
Oda
think
mentioned
that's
that he
stock than
wanted.
other ones.
I think Oda mentioned that he wanted to make the fight between him and Zoro longer, but it wouldn't have worked with the narrative and would have killed the pacing.
You say that like the pacing wasn't already killed, but yeah.
I mean, there's also
Look,
the fact that
it
it'd be
got
impractical.
There's also the fact that we're not talking about the fact that it was supposed to be a bait and switch.
Oh?
You know, the whole, not T-Bone specifically, but the fact that the CP9 guys were working undercover at Galila.
Oh yeah, that.
It's a kind of a major plot point, and we have not talked about it once.
Mm.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's only 3 of them who were working undercover at Galila.
Rockstar, how early did you see that coming?
Well, I mean, given I wasn't really looking for it, but I mean, it does make sense in retrospect. I mean, when you just find out, it's like, oh, he's got the thing. They're looking for it. It's like, yeah, it makes sense that basically they'd be right next to him. That's just one of the things where it struck me as
It's kind of
I should have seen that coming. But then again, I have some stupid ones where I expected there to be a surprise and there wasn't. If you want to laugh at one of them, I can give you
One
that.
Piece kind of does that to you.
Yeah, no, feel free. We've all had moments like that.
This is a fun one. Remember the Sniper King thing? I was betting that what they did is that it actually wasn't Usopp, and it was a second one who looked just like him, and they'd just be like, "Gotcha." It's like, no. I figured they'd pull something. I figured Oda would pull something like
You
that
know?
there.
He could have, but it would have made a less impactful story if he did.
True, but it would have been funny.
You say that like Luffy and Chopper not understanding that Usopp and Sniper King are the same person wasn't funny.
Oh no, that was
was
absolutely hilarious. But I do just I love. But okay,
Would have made
Flag
a double
burning.
fake.
the flag burning moment. How'd you feel about that?
That was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, that was a good one, and it very much did its job. So you can, that's one of those moments of okay, now we're gonna make it real. Here we go. It's going down now. That was
they threw down the gauntlet.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Also,
Buster calls.
what did you think of Robin's flashback?
Yeah, Robin's flashback. Let me see which one am I going to go with there. Okay, the 390s. Yes, the 390s one.
Yeah.
I'm wondering exactly when she ate that fruit, given that you see her and she's already got that. It's like, when the hell did she eat that thing? She's freaking
she
you can see the 3 arms on the one side right then. It's like, when did you get it and how did you get
in
it?
fairness, Lockstar, Luffy was 5 when he ate his. Could have been a
he was
similar
also-
situation.
I think it was like 7 or 8.
Yeah, but he's also Luffy.
That is a very good counterpoint.
Anytime you bring up Luffy as an example of something, the reply is almost always, yeah, but he's Luffy.
Look, yeah, I kind of walked right into that one. Logstar, how does it feel to be memeing on the veterans now?
Well, I mean, I still don't think it beat my previous one, but that's another thing.
Okay, but yeah. So, to be fair, it almost to me makes sense to give a child a devil fruit early if you're gonna give them a devil fruit anyway, right?
Yeah.
That way, they never kind of develop a lowered guard towards the water, and they kind of grow up with it as their normal. If it's gonna stick with them for life, I mean, why not give a child a devil fruit? Hell, mix it in with their baby food.
And it means they're not learning to control it.
After they've already gotten used to physical training like Luffy did.
Or if when they're already out on the open sea, let's say, that would be
Yes.
quite bad.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
so
can you imagine? Yes, go ahead, Lockstar.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, you finish that one because I'm just gonna go back to the flashback after you're done with this one.
Yeah, so like, because just remembering, I don't know, has it been shown yet just how much training Luffy had to go through to make?
No.
Like he makes it look easy, but it very much was not. Yes, okay, Logstar, go ahead.
Okay, some things that got me during that flashback. I mean, now, one thing, Clover saying the Poneglyphs were a warning and basically being back, basically just accusing guys like, it's like, I know what you're doing. It's like, okay, yeah. It's like, basically you're like, shoot me right now. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's not the way you play that, but, anyway, there's also, let's see, just the whole fact that, let's see, that clearly it was all, that the kid's like, oh no, I know you're doing that downstairs. I know you're totally against me doing that. I know you're, I'm sorry, this is, Robin saying, I know you're looking at the pond downstairs. Clearly, I'm just going to follow you. Which, actually, there's the ambivalence there, where, you get her getting discouraged in that part, and at the end, well, with everyone dying, it sounds like they're more like, no, this is your job now. Sounds like mom basically just like was like, no, you're gonna start where I left off. It definitely
Yeah,
felt
It's
like that.
one of the themes of the series, to be fair. That of
Passing the
inherited
torch, yes.
will.
Yeah, but I mean,
Inherited
just the
will
fact where it's like, at first it seemed like, yeah, we don't want you. No, we just changed our mind right at the end. Now it's your turn.
To be
It's like
fair, they kind of didn't have a choice in the matter at that point.
Yeah. It was very clear to them that Robin was going to be the only surviving archaeologist from O'Hara.
oh yeah. Of course, it's kind of a little weird where it's like, it sounded like they kind of knew they were on the clock long before that though. So
That's actually a fair point. That is a bit weird in hindsight because they had to know, right?
yeah, I mean, it sounded
O'Hara?
like with Olvia, doing her thing and going out. It's like at that point, it sounded like they kind of knew at that point the clock was set, And it's like, yeah, we'll just wait this one out, But that's how it goes.
I do wonder about that sometimes. Like, I'm sure they were like smart enough and they had resources. I'm sure they could have feasibly hid out somewhere somehow.
Probably would have made
Right?
it difficult to research extensively if you're all.
Probably would. I guess having one lone agent makes it easier
Yeah.
than having, especially one who is already kind of well known. But yes, what were your thoughts on the giant D we saw in the flashback?
I'm wondering where that D comes from now. I'm really wondering because it's like I'm pretty sure they're not all related, and it's like does the
guys,
D?
he's one of us now.
It's like does the D come like? Is it okay? You know what? I'm even trying to figure out how to
phrasing on that one. For a little bit, it was a little bit of a phrasing scenario.
Yeah,
Actually, that's not even my thought. That's not even my thought here because listen, it's always going to be phrasing with that. I think there's no way to avoid phrasing with that.
Yeah, this is the first tangible reference to the will of the D. I'm sorry, I can never say that with a straight
You
face.
can't say that out loud with a straight face.
the will of D is an ongoing mystery that we do not know the answer to yet. One of several, actually. We also don't
It's
know
probably the biggest one, though.
that and
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I'm just wondering. It's like I'm just imagining people going through that world. You know,
And
just
saying
that-
Will
that
of D
happen
and
to
trying
have-
not to
no,
snigger.
no. They just happen to have a D in the middle of their names, and they have to explain, "Oh my God, I'm not doing that. Please don't shoot me right here."
That is a fair point. You have to imagine, like, what happens if someone's middle initial is just D, completely unrelated to, like, the Will of D?
To be fair, I don't think there are any actual characters in the series besides those with the D who have a
Well, we obviously haven't seen them, but you have to imagine there's just some guy whose middle name is like Derek, and every time he writes out his full name with the initial, he just has to like, whenever he's like filling out tax forms or something, he's just like, I should just clarify, it's my D stands for Derek. No, like, mystical shenanigans going on here. Please don't send me to the gulag.
I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's very common in One Piece for characters to have either just one name or their first name and a surname, and that's it.
Do you
So,
think?
So, like, how'd they
Do you
know to
think
give
any like?
how'd they know to give him the initial then?
Yeah,
Family
that's also
thing.
a kind of
Possibly.
because like it's not necessarily. Actually, I'm pretty sure Luffy's line is the only line up till this point, mind you, where we've seen the hereditary. It's the I know there's an example later, but there's only 2 examples. Otherwise, all of the other Ds we've seen are
We don't know of
standalones.
any relatives. We don't know of any relatives.
Mill. Just, you don't have to.
But
can
I
hear you
do.
snickering.
But I do because
Look.
I'm a child, and I laugh at that.
Okay, fine, I'll just go then. But now we have a giant D. What do we do with that?
Yeah, you're right. So it's not just a species. Every species can theoretically have a D.
Oh God, you're gonna kill me.
You know, at this
You're
point, I'm doing it on
welcome.
purpose, right?
Yeah, hey, I did that one on purpose. You're welcome.
Thank you. But yeah, what do you think that like strippers and porn stars use the D?
I mean,
Come on, there's a guy with the last name Dragon. Well, I mean, the name given name Dragon. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we're set right there.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I do have
how
to
is
mention.
Logstar going to feel about floor 5.5?
Oh God, damn it! That's in a
I
couple.
mean, there's definitely a lot of dragon and also strippers.
That's in a couple of videos. We'll get to that when we get to that.
That might be the next episode, actually.
No, next episode's Thriller Bark.
Oh, right.
Thriller Bark
Again,
and Sabaody.
Except for Brooke, I always forget Thriller Bark exists.
Which is a shame because I liked it more than I liked this
Oh,
saga.
no, I love Thriller Bark. I just forget where it takes place chronologically.
It doesn't help that Thriller Bark is a lot shorter than Water 7.
Because Shabandi has a lot more punch.
Sabaody.
If you know what I'm saying.
Sabaody. Anyways.
I will
Yeah.
I will meet you halfway and call it Sabandi.
So,
Anyways.
have we gone to the Cuddy Flam flashback yet? Because
I'm not
my
talking
brain
about
is-
Frankie's
No,
flashback.
no, please
I've
go
already-
ahead.
Yeah, because I just hurt my brain a minute ago. So, anyway, going back to Tom and the and such. Tom Cuddy Flam and the origin of Frankie. So, are we starting on this one?
Wherever.
I mean, you got the notes. You feel free to just jump in.
None of my notes appear to come even close to what any of you guys know right off. Okay, so I'm going to start with.
Just pick one at random.
Now, of course, we also get the whole connection between what eventually became the Thousand Sunny and the Oro Jackson. Well, I mean, Tom.
Oh yes, that is. Do
the
you
woods
not
itself.
love the old passing of the torch, Generation Xerox? I mean, like, let's be real. The biggest plot twist Oda could throw at us would be Luffy not becoming the Pirate King, because literally every step of his journey has basically mirrored what's his face.
Sure.
Yes, I did just forget Gold Roger's name.
How the fuck?
Look!
He
Gold
even had
Roger
the D.
We don't know about that yet. Look,
Yes, we
Gold
do.
Roger is
No,
old and
they've spelled it that way like many times so far.
They spelled it
Look.
all the way back at Drum Island.
oh, fair enough. Remember, Gold Roger, old and busted. Monkey D. Luffy, new hotness.
True.
Look inside-
Roger
look in-
has been dead for 22 slutty years.
And Luffy is all the rage now. I mean, like,
Well,
have you seen his abs?
wait until the current arc for Luffy to become the true hotness.
Oh yes, that will be fun to
Oh.
discuss.
Oh God! Oh, we're gonna love that.
Oh,
But
no.
anyway, so yes, it is one of the many examples of Luffy essentially mirror. So what's funny is he's mirroring Roger's journey, but he's kind of doing it better.
I mean, Luffy's journey also seemingly involves a lot more of punching tyrants and their goons in their faces.
Well, we don't necessarily know. I'm sure Roger got up to a decent amount of that.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, that's a very good point that you bring up. Is that yeah? So not only has he gotten all of this fancy stuff, even his new ship is in Roger's lineage. Right? Like the Sunny is basically the Oro Jackson's like nephew or something. Niece, depending on, we don't know the Sunny's gender, and I don't want to misgender. I mean, you can't blame me after the
Pretty much all
going
ships are
Mary.
referred to as female.
Okay, the Sunny is also referred to as a girl.
Yeah, pretty much every ship in any work of fiction is given she/her pronouns because ships are referred to as
Yeah, but remember,
as
this is a universe where the ships can theoretically become literally alive.
True.
So that's not necessarily going to hold across the board. But yes, how on Logstar, on a scale of 1 to medal, how would you rate the fact that Frankie spent like 6 months doing surgery on himself with scraps, making Iron Man look bad without anesthesia?
Well, I mean, there is metal to that, but then again, he has a cola fridge, and that kind of takes some points away.
That's a fair point, but here's the thing though, it's not Coca-Cola, so we don't know if it's a horrible corporation. It's unbranded, so it could just be homebrew. Yeah, have you thought of that?
But I mean, keep in mind in that one fridge they did have cola. I mean, Chopper did get that cola for him in there, so it had to be pretty stock cola.
Oh no, he's right.
Though of
I
course,
didn't think of that.
I still want to see Chopper do the experiment. Wipe that! I wonder what'll happen if I give him something else to drink. Look off your face. That whole thing.
I do kind of want to have like just a series of cover pages where Chopper and Usopp just experiment with putting different fuel sources into Frankie.
You sure it's not all psychosomatic? It's like it's like if Oda ever has like some sort of like breakdown, he could always have Chopper as the one who becomes self-aware and realizes that it's all a farce, and that he's stuck in the pages. Chopper would be the one to figure that out. It's like, there's a reason it doesn't make sense. I can see outside now.
So funny thing about Frankie, real quick. In an SBS, someone asked Oda where each of the Straw Hats would be from if they were from the real world, and he gave a different answer for each. Frankie would be the one from America, which should not be surprising.
That tracks. It's
Which
really
part?
like
Which
almost.
part?
Yes.
That's a very good question. To be fair, it's almost an insult to Frankie at this point.
Yeah, but he does have at least the aesthetic of I'd probably say like a
Oh
surfer
my
bro.
god, Frankie is from Florida.
Fuck.
He's the Florida
Frankie
man.
is
Okay,
the
Florida
living
man.
embodiment of Florida man.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far.
No, he seems more of like a chaotic surfer bro.
You're
Well, with
not
his,
helping
love of
the
his
Florida
fun.
case.
No, Florida
pretty-
is something else.
Florida is different from a surfer bro. I live in California. I know of surfer bros.
Okay, fair enough. Yes. 'Cause there's beaches in Florida, so I was thinking, maybe.
No, surfer bro is very much a California thing.
Okay.
And a Hawaii thing, but mostly California.
Okay. And I will put things back on track.
I
because
feel like
got
the
things off
fact
track.
that Frankie wears a Hawaiian shirt kind of makes is a convincing argument against him being from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for not saying from Hawaii. Thank you for getting it right.
Yes, no, he wears a Hawaiian shirt. It's obviously
Yeah,
not where he's from.
definitely not from Hawaii. But anyways, Frankie's
Yeah.
flashback is
Yeah.
an interesting one.
I thought you were gonna say Frankie's flashing, and I was gonna
That
say
is
that's
also a
not
plot
until
point.
that's not till much later though.
Well, let's talk about the flashback first.
Okay.
Because, Logstar, your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, should I skip on to the next part or no? Well, one thing, there was the not surprising part that came up later with of course, the government using Frankie things to attack the judicial ship. It's like who would have seen a show trial coming? It's like yeah, we know that's gonna happen. Though actually, there was one thing kind of interesting with the blueprints when they came up. It's like, oh, this is actually supposed to counter something else that's out there. Hello, I'm
yes.
listening now.
The ancient weapons, that's a fun plot point that starts to become relevant here.
Does anyone else find it really funny that first of all, probably the only two people who have any sort of knowledge on Pluton at this point in time are, outside of the world government, are Robin and Frankie, both members of the Straw Hats.
Yep.
And even more interesting is the fact that Crocodile, who was searching furiously for Pluton, again lost both mental avenues for it again to Luffy and the Straw Hats.
That is hilarious.
Because it's just like I find it very amusing.
You know what's also hilarious? Spandam constantly getting his ass kicked.
Mm.
It is nice, isn't it? Always
Especially
nice to. Very
Frankie
cathartic.
fucking pistol whips him, except he uses a fucking rifle.
Which is just, again, very, very cathartic.
Why couldn't the final fight just be Luffy kicking the shit out of Spandam instead of the one we got against Lucci?
It's much more entertaining for Frankie and Robin to do so because they have beef with him.
I'm not saying that they couldn't join in. I'm just saying that, everyone joins in and kicks the shit out of Spandam.
Though with Nico Robin and the kicking the shit out of thing, I will say I was waiting. It's like, okay, she's utterly useless right now. Okay, the cuffs. Come on, cuffs come off. I know what's coming after those cuffs come off. Come on. I was just, waiting for that.
And
you knew it was...
I assume you were satisfied?
Yes, of course. But it's that's the thing. It's you knew they were coming off. You knew it was coming after, and it was come on.
It was a very cathartic moment. I'll agree with you there.
I love that she gets to own him twice. First, she just beats him bloody and blue, and then she breaks his back.
Break your back, make him humble. Very few people
he does
actually get
better,
that reference.
But this is kind of just, it's One Piece. Everyone's made of solid vibranium in this universe.
Mm.
I mean,
unless you're one hit point popcorn, in which case,
yes, we don't count those people.
Fuzzy, don't you know? Band-Aids make everything better.
That's also fair, yes. They did get better after they had some. They got some band-aids in them. You know, unless you're Nami's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Too soon?
No.
She got shot in the head, so.
Well, I'm sure there's people who have survived that in this universe.
I would not be surprised, but it's one of the few ways that seems to be a guaranteed kill, at least in flashbacks.
Oh, I'm sure Luffy's gonna get shot in the head at some point, and he's just gonna be fine.
Yeah, but he is immune to bullets.
Most bullets.
We'll get to that.
I mean, we've already seen Seastone. It just kind of makes sense that
Anyway,
someone...
Oh, the sea
Yes.
stone.
go on, Logstar. What were you gonna say?
And that just reminds me of the whole thing where it's like, well, I guess that whole thing with the comm belt from before that I was talking about. I was like, yeah, there's probably some way in here for people to go across that. It's like, there we go. Yep. Yeah,
Yep, you got your question answered.
Yeah, question answered. They do that. Of course, that also raises the question: why are they the only ones doing that? There's got to be other people doing that, right? Just take the warp
That
zone.
question gets answered later.
It has actually been partially explained that already that it's one of those things where the sea stone is a very
very rare. And the
very
world
rare material, and the government,
it.
anytime a mine is discovered, they crack down on that, as governments tend to do.
Yeah, it's pretty clear at this point that the world government is an authoritarian regime. And
oh, that one's definite.
Yeah, no, that's been clear for a while, but yeah, this really
this brings it
drives
into
the point home.
Yeah.
And of course, it also does set up the whole little people getting in the way. I mean, come on, even the thing with Tom where it's like, now we'll give you time for that sea train, and don't worry, we'll forgive you for the Goldie Roger thing. Then of course you get the next people coming along later, and they're like, yeah, how about no? But there was the attempt made. So you can definitely see where people are. It's like yeah, they will screw with it, and it'll usually just get squished.
Yeah, it generally doesn't end well. Like, it's kind of the part and parcel of the authoritarian regime. Is just like, of course, it doesn't end well. They're just that's why it's an authoritarian. Words are hard. Authoritarian regime.
Oh, but there is a lot of trying.
Yes, in fact, Luffy's dad is in trouble for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, kind of. But yeah,
just getting
what are your
back
thoughts on... No, I do have a question regarding this. This is only the second time we've seen Fishmen so far, at least from Logstar's point of view, right?
Well, no. Oh yeah, Tom.
Yeah, Tom is the first time we've seen a Fishman, who's kind of like who's not a pirate and like not that dickish.
Well, no, the first time we saw a fish person was the mermaid.
Ooh.
What?
Fucking what's her face?
Kokoro, right?
Kokoro, yeah.
No, Kokoro is the first mermaid we meet.
She's the first mermaid we've seen.
Are they not the same thing?
Only fishmen...
They are not.
No, there is actually a distinct difference.
There is a distinction, and it's explained way back in Arlong Park, where it's fishmen are basically like humanoid fish. Merfolk are beings that have the upper body of a humanoid and the lower body of a fish.
Merfolk are the classical mer people.
Yeah.
Whereas fishmen are more creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah. Like I said, they're humanoid fish people.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Though we'll get more explanation on that in Fishman Island. But yes, basically, Tom is the first fishman we've met since Arlong and his goons.
And Tom is a much different person and character.
How the fuck does he stand on those legs?
He does have tiny little.
He skipped leg
toothpick
day.
legs.
He is top heavy as fuck. Though to be fair, a lot of male characters in One Piece are very top heavy.
I mean, yeah, if we're gonna talk about skipping leg day, have you seen Frankie? I don't think his legs could carry a single one of his individual shoulders.
To be fair, they are reinforced with steel.
Oh, Logstar, what are your thoughts on, and this is relevant, what are your thoughts on A, the various transformations and superpowered alternate abilities we see this time around?
Oh yeah, fucking everyone gets a power up this time around.
Yeah, I mean the gears. Okay, so I do see him. I'll admit, I just kind of didn't put much into that, and I was like, okay, Super Saiyan Luffy, I'm okay with that. But Chopper is the one that got me. Is a Chopper triple
Monster Point.
Points.
I mean, what was the thing called?
Monster
Monster
Point is
Point.
the name of the form.
Yeah, but I mean the things that he
Rumble Ball?
Rumble Ball.
Yeah, triple Rumble Ball thing. That one was the one I noticed. That seems to have
Yeah, that's one of
potential
Chopper's.
to understate.
That's
So,
one of Chopper's
yeah, the
big
fact
moments
that-
in this series is him going Monster Point.
Yeah, so the fact that drugs are bad, kids, is the lesson. Well, yeah, but basically the fact that Chopper is, for all intents and purposes. Chopper, for all intents and purposes, is roiding himself out when he takes his Rumble Ball is kind of hilarious to me, and he essentially goes into magical roid rage. And what are your thoughts on like the form of Monster Point specifically?
Well,
like its physical characteristics.
Well, I mean, what is there to say? It's like go from like, tiny cute to well, I mean, he already has plenty of forms in the first place. I mean, like trying to evidently actually trying to pass himself off as a normal person early on, where it's like that is clearly not going to work. I'm sorry, Chopper, but of course,
yeah. I mean, to be fair, have you seen some of the people in this world?
Point.
Right? It's like Chopper is pretty close to someone's idea of a standard human being relative to some of the other characters we see, like the main antagonist of next arc, who is apparently just a perfectly normal human being somehow.
Oh god. We'll talk about that later.
Let's see. And of course at the triple Rumble Ball level, you of course get your massive sort of thing. Though I do wonder with the one thing, like I'm comparing to like Luffy and Gear 3 and basically shrinking afterward.
That is a funny gimmick. What did you notice about that specifically?
Well, I mean, I'm just comparing to Choppers, where it's like, so Luffy has to go through small mode after that, and Chopper's just like, not back to normal. A little like unconscious, but back to normal. I was just noticing the difference on those. One, you go into small mode. The other, it's like, I'm just gonna sleep for a month.
Chopper's Monster Point just drains the fuck out of his stamina, basically.
Yeah, whereas, so Monster Point is kind of interesting in that it's more of a natural extension of Chopper's powers, whereas with Luffy, his gears are kind of not really built in, right? Like his gears are, his gears are very much something that he has to figure out artificially almost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Chopper getting tired out, I mean, we also have to remember the Rumble Balls do have the time limit on them, so it's like they're gonna do that either way. They're gonna be somewhere out there in the "we'll screw with you" range.
That is true. So, what about Zoro and Sanji's things?
We talked about Ashra briefly, but
Yeah. Just give us your more detailed thoughts, please.
Yeah, I mean, the thing there. Now I'm pretty sure that it was that the word "lose" something like illusory came up in that one.
Yeah. So it's
the
the
only
awkward thing about this.
explanation we really get about it is Kaku surmises that it's basically a projection of Zoro's intimidating aura.
Yeah.
I think is how it gets explained here.
Which,
Yeah. So it's like, so basically, it's like, okay, so basically induced hallucination sort of stuff. That's how I was reading that.
yeah, but it might be more complicated than that, which is
Oh
We
yeah,
don't
I know
get
it's
into
definitely.
that.
Yeah, it's definitely on the table that it's actual arms. I know that one.
We don't
would-
get we have not gotten an explanation thus far on what exactly makes Ashra happen.
Yeah, though
Beyond
there is a potential explanation we get as early as like I mean I guess it's really just
we
the,
don't know. We
Uja
frankly don't know
arc.
at this point.
Well, no, there's like hints because we've seen other people use abilities similar to this using a very specific power system we'll talk about later.
But bottom line, Zoro's new power up is a lot less intuitive than Sanji's, which is just like, oh, he's using friction to heat up his leg.
Which is funny because how he avoids getting burned by the friction is pure nonsensolium. I love it.
I mean, that's One Piece in a nutshell.
No, it's funny to me because it's like it's the duality of like it almost seems like you could write an essay on the duality of man based on just that one explanation. Because on the one hand, he's like making a specific attempt to how should I put it? He's making a specific attempt to explain it somewhat logically how the power up happens. And then immediately afterwards, he's like, oh, but it doesn't burn me because my heart burns even hotter. I'm just like, which one are you going to go with? Are you going to go with like the somewhat reasonable logical explanation or are you going to go with the pure shonen BS? I'm fine with either one, but it is kind of funny that he decides to have his cake and eat it too.
I'll admit, I just parsed the whole heart thing as, I'm just gonna say a douche line right now. I'm just gonna be a douche and just rub it all in your face right now. Just smash it in that I just did that to you.
Go ahead.
No.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
That's what he was. That's what it struck me
That
as
is
him
what
doing.
you know. No, that's fine. That's fair. Like, honestly, I love it. I wish we also see probably the single biggest example is of Sanji's specific aversion to harming women.
Oh yeah, his quote unquote fight with Khalifa.
Yeah.
He drank the tea? Seriously?
Yeah.
This is one of Sanji's like. It's a common debate in the fandom over how much of a character flaw his hesitance to fight women is.
Well, I mean, Nami basically called him an idiot, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but like
so.
but Nami's
understandably.
Understandably, but also Nami's kind of one of the more what do we call it? She's one of the more reasonable, logical members of the crew, right?
One of the few members of the crew with brain cells, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of, but like also even sometimes even Robin is kind of like she very much has the brain cells, but sometimes she chooses not to use them because they're more fun. It's more fun that way.
Whereas Nami, the brain cells fly out the window the moment money is involved.
Yeah, even Usopp and Nami get upgrades,
Yeah.
which is
Usopp
kind of interesting,
with his Kabuto staff and Nami with her perfect climate act.
right? It's kind of interesting that they did make a conscious decision to go that route. With them getting tech-based upgrades, because that's not actually something you see very often in shonen. Like, do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
in shonen, it's like they'd figure
Oh, yeah.
out a way, generally, to kind of BS their way through it by, like, making them stronger somehow with some sort of... Well, either that or they just, like, not do it. Right? That's also a possibility. So, some people wouldn't even bother with the BS, but I think it's interesting that Oda definitely decided to show that raw brute force and physical strength is not the only, like, strength sort of
Oh yeah.
deal, right?
I mean, Usopp comes into clutch despite not having a single solo fight in the entire arc. Like, his one fight in the entire saga is with Luffy. He does not fight against any of the CP9 or win against any of them.
But he does make life worse for Zoro.
Oh god.
Look,
While
Zoro
while I
is
wasn't
very
a
much
massive
growing-
while I wasn't a massive fan of most of the fights in the Enies Lobby arc, that moment where fucking Zoro uses Usopp as a sword was pretty great.
It was
Yeah, Usopp had it
It was
coming.
hilarious.
I feel like Zoro was doing the is he actually dumb or is he actually being vengeful? It's very much a DBZA. Did you just hold a grudge moment? Where you can't tell if he's just being dumb or if he just really is just getting some of his frustration with Usopp out.
Both of those possibilities are actually very smart.
Mm-hmm. I also love that Zoro's first idea of a solution is to well, after it turns out that Kaku and Jabra do not have the key to the cuffs, his first idea is one of them cuts off their hand and has Chopper sew it back on.
That man just wants to lose a limb.
And to be fair, he probably wouldn't have lost any functionality considering just how good at doctoring Chopper is in general. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have like done anything. Right?
I mean, that's entirely possible.
Like, I'm pretty sure Chopper would have just screwed that thing back on and he'd have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie could have given him a cool robot arm.
But yeah,
maybe fucking Zoro, like as a kid, read stories of like your stereotypical pirates with like peg legs and hooks.
Peg legs? Oh my god, you know what?
And he just like,
That's,
I
like,
really want one,
actually
so I really
That
want
is
one. It'll make
actually
me a real
not at
pirate.
all- Yeah, that's actually not at all outside of
Outside of
that
Oda's
makes
sense of
a
humor.
that makes a disturbing amount of sense.
Oh, sense humor thing. Just me, or did almost all of the bounties had jokes, didn't they?
Oh right, because this right.
Yeah,
this
we
is
also
where
get the
they basically
bounties.
all got their bounties, huh?
Yeah,
the bounty posters are really fun,
yeah.
especially Chopper and Sanji.
Poor Chopper. Poor
Poor
Chopper.
He did not deserve it. Sanji did, but Chopper did not deserve it.
Yeah, and of course the Nami one, and it took me a minute to realize the Nico Robin one.
Yeah, Robin only got a slight bounty update, which I feel like she probably should have gotten her bounty bumped up a little bit more.
Yeah, it took me a while. It was like 8. Wait, what was it? Oh, I
Yeah,
think that was a joke. Never mind. Oh, it's like took a while to realize most of them had jokes that way.
Oh, would you like to elaborate? Because some of us may have missed them. Potentially.
I mean, clearly there's the whole thing with the picture used for Nami, how it's like one guy even had it like blown up later.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Of course,
funny.
Yeah, Chopper, where of course, at first I thought it's like, okay, oh, Chopper has 50 million. Then it's like later, it's like, oh, wait, never mind. It didn't say million, did it?
No,
Oh,
it's
poor
50
Chopper. No,
berries.
just 50. The way Usopp didn't really have his own technically, it was under the other name.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Saki picture, and then the fact that Nico Robin, oh, that's a big bounty. Oh, wait, she's had all but one of that since she was 8 years old. So it's like, huh, most didn't. I think, like, Luffy and Zoro out of the main were the only ones that really had it played straight, right? Or were there jokes I didn't see there?
No, I think Luffy and Zoro were the only ones where it was played straight.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not counting Frankie because that was there for a reveal, not for a joke,
Mm-hmm.
That's also fair. Yeah, now that I think about it, yeah. I think most of this. Oh, would you believe me if I told you that uh, possibly some of these jokes, I'm not going to tell you which ones, but that some of these jokes might have major plot ramifications 400 chapters later?
Not surprised.
And some of them have. Let's not go any further than that. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like.
Anyways, the bounties are fun, and
Yeah.
it's nice that all the Straw Hats have bounties at this point now.
Mm-hmm.
What's also
But, it was a long time coming.
What's also fun is that shit. I kind of want to go back to Ennie's lobby real quick to talk about.
Go ahead. Yeah. It's not like we have some sort of super
Schedule.
Yeah.
But there is also I want to bring this up because we didn't really talk much about the individual CP9 members, but Kaku is a really fun character compared to the rest of CP9.
I liked him until he started using his devil fruit, and I felt like that made him more boring.
Honestly, his devil fruit was really funny.
So here's an interesting thing.
Defending it.
This is kind of one of the first examples we've seen of someone getting a devil fruit later in life.
Yeah. And unlike Khalifa, who takes to hers really quickly, Kaku takes a hot minute to get used to his.
I mean, you can make an argument that he still hasn't gotten used to it.
Yeah. I mean, half of this fight with Zoro is him trying to work out the kinks and how he uses his devil fruits. And some of his abilities are like, what the fuck? How did he do that?
Okay, so here's an interesting question. Do you think that Zoro's fight would have been easier or harder if Kaku had not had a devil fruit with him?
Yes. It's hard to say because on the one hand, Kaku spends most of their fights learning how to use his devil fruit, but on the other hand, it does make him physically stronger when he's using it. Because I doubt he could have cut the fucking Tower of Justice in half if he didn't have it.
That is true, isn't it?
So it's like, on the one hand, he's getting used to his abilities, but on the other hand, he is massively physically stronger.
Yeah, it's kind of it just sometimes you kind of gotta wonder just to what degree of a difference maker that is, right? Lockstar, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely err on the idea of the devil fruits are that much of a level up, but I mean, still, it did take a while to figure out exactly how to get through all of it, even at that level of lack of knowledge,
Fair enough.
I mean, just personally, I feel like just Zoro versus Kaku was looking or shaping up to be a really cool fight, and then it sort of turned into.
It kind of did devolve
comedy.
into a gag fight, yes.
Yeah.
Most of the CP9 fights are a mix of humor and action, to be fair. Like, Chopper's fight with Kumadori doesn't get played straight for half of its run, and then it starts turning desperate for Chopper, and then Monster Point comes out.
Yeah, you can even like kind of say that
like I'm trying to think. The only one of the CP9 fights that isn't like at least a third consisted of gags is Luffy versus Lucci.
And
Everything else
even
has.
that's kind of gaggy with the tiny mode.
Oh yeah, that bit was fun. I also love that Lucci thought that Luffy's Gear Three, first Gear Three attack would just be like an inflatable balloon, and it turned and he tried to tank it, and
Yeah,
that
so
backfired
this is
horribly on
something a
him.
lot of people kind of forget. Air is heavy,
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
Luffy
especially
just
compressed air.
Luffy also inflated his bones,
Yeah,
not his muscles. So
like
the bones are harder than muscle. Who'd have thought?
bones are hard, and also he's basically the equivalent of hitting someone with a giant tire. And just even like anyone who's even just accidentally rolled a freestanding tire, not even a wheel, just a tire onto their foot, can attest rubber plus air is heavy and it's hard and it hurts a
Yeah.
lot.
So big
This is
oops
this
on
is
Lucci
sound.
for that.
This is sounding like we're going back to the porn conversation.
God damn it.
I mean, it's Oda. You never leave the porn conversation with Oda.
That is not inaccurate.
Right?
But yeah,
Like, okay, y'all think so Oda has made many references to being horny. Right?
yes.
Like that
Mhm.
is a truth we take to be self-evident. But what's the over-under you think on Oda, exploring some One Piece Rule 34 on occasion?
I don't know. What I do know is that he does make a joke in his SBS about getting far fewer marriage proposals in the mail after he had announced he got married.
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is a joke. Honestly, there's a decent chance he might be completely serious there, which
Would not
I
surprise.
don't know how I feel about.
To be fair, Oda is extremely popular, so
Look,
I wouldn't have been surprised that he got.
I'm not saying I would not say no, but I'm not saying it. Know what I'm saying?
hmm But anyways, yeah, Oda is 100%. He does not. He definitely advertises that he is in fact pretty horny. He is, you could say, horny on Maine.
Uh, Even aside from that, I think it's kind of interesting to look at how his character design has evolved over the years. Because at this point in One Piece, he'd kind of
Ah, yes,
been
the
doing it
female,
for a while.
the female
Yeah, so the
character
female character
design.
design is not just what I'm talking about, but like you can see it in how he draws the male characters as well, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are
Like
pretty. There's like, it's not as bad as with the female characters because there is a bit more
no,
variety in
no.
the male
What I'm
design.
actually saying is that at this point, because his character design very much leaned towards kind of noodly,
Hmm.
right? For the men, they were much
Mm.
more like exaggeratedly long limbs, relatively slender. Like for the ones that weren't like just ludicrously bulky, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of
But like,
twinks.
yeah. So what's
And this is
funny
when he discovered how to draw twunks.
kind of is, isn't it? Oh God.
He
But
didn't get
yeah,
it. He didn't get it fully right until the most recent arc. That's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough.
but yeah, we all know how you feel about Wano Luffy. No,
I make no
we
bones about
can.
that.
I mean, I thought the point was that you do.
Oh
But,
my.
So yeah, what I was gonna say is that I forgot what I was gonna say. Carry on.
Good. um.
But yeah, as we were saying before the tangent, a lot of the CP9 fights are surprisingly comedic, and it is kind of funny because like the lead up to the CP9 fights is Robin's flashback, and then her one of the big moments of the series.
Yeah,
I'd
it is
say.
a bit of mood whiplash.
And
I mean,
again,
at least it
it's-
feels
it's-
organic because it comes after Robin's big declaration that she wants to live, which emotional gut punch.
Again, but it like with that sort of with the moments of Luffy arriving and saying, "Who the fuck gives a shit that that you've got tens of thousands of people? I'm Monkey D. Luffy. Fuck you."
Yeah,
That is
And
a
then-
great climactic
Yeah,
moment.
and then fucking again the fucking Enies lobby walk, and then shoot down the flag.
and then
And then
want to live,
Yeah,
and
and then it
jumping
turns
the train
into
over the ravine.
yeah, and then it just turns into a fucking like gag reel almost. Like it just.
I wouldn't say that.
I know it's not a
That's
gag reel,
a
but
bit
like
over-
Oda knows
I
how to
feel-
do serious fights, and it just felt disappointing that there weren't many of them here.
Honestly, I feel like it helped to give the characters, the CP9 characters, at least some personality. Because if all the fights were serious, then they would be a lot more boring than they already were.
You can give characters like character and still have serious fights.
That is true, but half of the CP9 weren't even introduced until Enies Lobby.
I mean, there were a lot of fights. I mean, given how many fights there were, Oda probably needed to have a lot of them go in that direction, or it would have just been like
It would have
way
been too odd.
yeah, just like way too much of it, just to dial it back that way.
Which again,
I
I
do
mean,
feel like he struck a good balance for the most part.
again,
Even if I do wish some of the fights were a tad more serious.
I feel like the pacing of this saga was just off.
I will not disagree with you. I also thought there were quite a few places where it dragged.
I do disagree to an extent, but I can see where you're coming from.
I mean, when I tried to do a reread in the summer, and this is where I had to stop, and because it's just so hard to get through this arc in one go, it really is.
And my take on it doesn't matter because I'm like fight scene, fight scene, which doesn't work here.
Mm.
It is very much a much more fight heavy arc.
Yeah, Enies Lobby is very much an action heavy arc compared to.
Oh, to be fair, okay, Logstar, let's go at it from the other direction. What sort of you were talking about?
Water 7.
Kind of a lot of in Water 7 you were talking about how there's kind of a lot of elements that you found interesting this arc, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot of story explanation elements. So what are give us a rundown of some of those.
Well, I mean, one thing where we're definitely getting a better idea of how certain characters we've taken, like Nico Robin especially, like where it all comes from. We've got some great pasts for Frankie and such. We do have a fun little world with the way the city itself is set up, And though I do wonder if we're gonna, probably not because the 1,000 Sunnies past that. I do wonder if we're ever going to see something again with that oh, city's sinking, we're going to fix that now with this crazy idea. Wonder if we're going to see that
That's
again.
actually it's not out of the question actually.
I feel
Right?
like Berg's goal of making Water 7 float is probably going to be addressed towards the end of the series, if not in the epilogue.
Remember that Iceberg is still there, actively working on it, right?
Mm.
Yeah, but also remember that it took them 14 years to build the sea train.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those things that's probably going to take a while.
Yeah. Still, it is something that's like, I feel like it's going to get resolved eventually. It's just one of those far future things that's more of like an epilogue or end of series thing.
That makes sense, yeah.
But still, it is interesting that we rarely get we rarely get uh, explorations or even talk about the the dreams of the characters outside the Straw Hats. Like their dreams are pretty well established as like Luffy wanting to be the Pirate King, Zoro wanting to be the greatest swordsman, and so forth. And even Frankie's becomes relevant and part of why he joins the crew. His desire to build a ship that can go around the world and to ride that ship to the end of the line.
Uh, yeah, so that is actually a very interesting point you bring up, Logstar, is that we're probably going to see it again, but it's not necessary. Because remember, that seems like something that would, if not in the epilogue, happen in a cover story.
Mm.
Because remember, Oda does like doing things with the side characters.
Yeah.
Or characters who are not relevant in the current arc. He just doesn't have the opportunity to do it very often, except in cover stories.
Which, there are a few cover stories that happen during this saga that we can talk about.
Right, that should be a good. I think we've more or less.
We might get back. There is one elephant in the room that we need to discuss afterwards, but the cover stories for the Water 7 saga are fun. The first one is Gadatsu's cover story, where he accidentally creates a hot spring resort, which is just so.
I didn't even remember who Gadatsu was.
He was
a cover story.
That was back during the Davy Back fight.
It started then, but it ended during Water 7. Then there is the Baroque Works cover story, which is one of my personal favorites. And that's basically, this is what happened to the numbered agents of Baroque Works after the fact, and how most of them escaped from prison. But Misters 0 through 3 are heading to Impel Down.
Yeah.
That definitely was important later.
Oh yeah, this by the way, they've how did you feel about the Gates of Justice system in these Logstar? How did you feel about the Gates of Justice in these 3 little
facilities
that we've seen thus far?
Well, it did really set up the linear structure of the arc. Though I do kind of wonder, it's like, okay, once you pass this point, it's over. It's like, wait. I did admittedly expect to be like, oh, and we will go beyond. I did expect that to happen, strangely. I expected to see them have to go beyond, and it would happen, you know. But
that's actually
because they were already at the past, whatever point.
Yeah, so that is actually interesting in that I'm pretty sure that is going to happen in the future, just not quite yet.
Mm.
So
that is a very.
So basically, there's going to be circling back.
Look, I can't say too much without spoilers, but I will. All I'm going to say is it's probably going to be more relevant than you might think.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I've been picturing a lot of this as sort of like a straight line in the making, and if it's not going to be a straight line, that's something else.
Yeah, it is not quite a straight line. There are moments. I mean, look, I can't say too much without spoiling, but suffice it to say, it is not entirely a straight line.
Yeah. You'll get more into this a little bit in the next video, but definitely in subsequent videos. But anyways, The third cover story that starts during the I think at the tail end of Ennie's lobby is Enaru's cover story,
Mm-hmm.
where he's on the fucking moon and somehow breathing in space.
To be fair, it is completely possible that Logias just don't need to breathe. Right? Like, that's not outside the realms of possibility.
I mean, I just think Enaru is so insane that he doesn't think air is necessary.
Yes, it's
for him.
possible. It's
somehow
possible
works.
that he just doesn't realize he needs to breathe, and therefore he does not need air.
Yeah.
That is also something that happens in this universe. So
But yeah, we'll talk about it more in the next arc when we get more of that cover story. But suffice to say,
I
it's
do
one of the
feel
more
like
interesting and unusual ones.
yes, but also it's one of the ones that kind of pisses me off a little more because, for all intents and purposes, kind of just like is a complete karma Houdini.
Yeah,
Right?
Enaru
He
doesn't.
kind of just gets off scot-free.
Yeah.
He
There's
doesn't really
no
suffer
lasting consequences for his actions. It does piss me off a little bit.
To be fair, actually, no, that's spoilers. Never mind. I won't talk about it.
Okay, so that's probably in a short circuit what I was going to say.
Why? What were you gonna say?
I mean, we are still on Enaru. I didn't just stop paying attention.
Yes,
for a second
Yes,
right
we
yet.
are on.
No,
Enaru.
we're still on.
I
it now.
think
Yes.
I think being alone on the moon is kind of its own problem. That's kind of a crap position to be in.
So, alone on the moon.
To be
Yes.
fair, because of where Logstar stopped, he won't have gotten most of that cover story arc.
He's only just been introduced to the space pirates.
Oh yes. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, it's more complicated than it may seem at first glance. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, please don't
It's
put the One
definitely a
Piece.
weird
Please don't put the One Piece in space. For the love of God, don't put the One Piece.
No,
in
no,
space.
that's
That's
not it.
That would be a trigger-like twist.
Yeah,
No,
this
no,
is
you don't
trigger.
understand. That's where the two piece is.
Yes. Two
Look,
piece.
like we joke about it, but Oda did explicitly say he wants his next series to be in space, and there's already been established that there's space pirates. So
If Oda wanted to, he could do it. But yeah, One Piece is stated to have an ending planned. Anyways,
it has an ending plan, but yes,
there are two other things I want to talk about real quick that come in the post Ennie's lobby arc.
Go on.
Shanks meeting with Whitebeard, and the reveal that both of them are members of a group known as the Four Emperors, aka the Yonko.
So turns out Luffy's real dad is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
What's funny is that even though Shanks is more of a father to Luffy than Dragon is. Also, if we're gonna talk about porn star names, I mean Shanks isn't too far removed either.
Dragon is still the winner. I'm sorry, Dragon still the winner.
No, it wins, but not by as much as you'd think.
But yeah, it's interesting to learn that Shanks is on the same level as fucking Whitebeard. Well, not quite the same level, but in the same league. And their conversation is very interesting because we find out that Shanks was an apprentice on Gold Roger's ship.
And the funny thing is, yeah, if you remember Logstar, there was a little cover. There was a flashback where Shanks and Buggy got yelled at by some old dude. Turns out that was on Gold Roger's ship.
No, man, still though, man, it still gets me that Buggy was on that crew also. That still gets me.
Buggy is very clearly the dud of that group.
So here's
the
thing,
it's like he very did get me as like the popcorn mob of that group, and it's like, how is he still alive?
So do you want to know something interesting that Oda said in an SBS?
Sure.
So literally the only reason Buggy is so weak is because he's lazy and he's never trained.
Yeah, his fruit is actually really powerful.
He has a
It's just-
very powerful fruit, and apparently, in terms of raw potential, he has at least as much potential as Shanks does.
he just is so fucking lazy that he'd never bothered to try.
So there is, in fact, a world in which Buggy was the fifth emperor. I want you to imagine.
Are you
Okay.
kidding me? In
Okay, so-
that world, there are no more emperors. There's only Buggy.
Yes, no, but in that world, Buggy D Clown, Buggy D Clown, legend among legends,
rules the
lurking
world.
menace.
Okay, so the only reason he's still alive is because it's like, okay, he's our crewmate. We have to save his ass again.
I mean,
No,
out of
he
universe,
does-
he's alive because Oda finds him hilarious.
But in universe, he's kind of alive because he is very good at one thing, and that one thing is surviving.
Yeah.
Right?
It
Like,
helps that his fruit basically makes him immune to a lot of different techniques, especially from powerful bladed weapon users. So like anyone who wants to come at him with a sword is not going to be able to actually do any damage with the sword.
Yeah.
which is hilarious considering the fact that some of the most powerful people in the world are swordists, including
Yep.
Shanks. Theoretically,
Oh yeah, I think Whitebeard mentions that Shanks and Mihawk used to duel.
Yeah.
yeah, no, Mihawk mentioned that fairly
Yeah.
early on, like in the meeting where they introduced Luffy, where Mihawk went over to Shanks's place to show them Luffy's bounty.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
They talked about how yes.
there's also like Shanks and Whitebeard's confrontation is all kinds of interesting,
Mm.
but it is a very and it leads up to them clashing weapons and splitting the fucking sky when they do, which is just
all sorts of badass. Yes.
yes. But part of the reason that Shanks went to visit Whitebeard is to talk about Blackbeard and how dangerous he is, because Blackbeard's the one who gave Shanks his facial scars, and he didn't.
And that was apparently before he had a devil fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Blackbeard and his devil fruit, we find out what said devil fruit is, and yeah, it's fucking powerful.
Yeah, that's when you murder a fellow crewmate for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, we got that explanation as well, huh?
Yep. Yeah, Blackbeard got one of the most powerful devil fruits in the series, though it does come with quite the drawback.
Well, it's not really a drawback if you really think about it, considering some things we learn later in the series as well.
From what we know of Blackbeard indicates that he is not good with that particular skill.
That's fair. Well, no, it's not that he's not good with that skill, but it's that he's kind of a just.
Blackbeard
Yes.
is basically just an unfortunate damage sponge due to his devil fruits.
But yeah, no. Anyway, what we were? We haven't gotten the mechanics for that yet, but we'll get to that later.
But yeah, no,
If
but
it
his fight with
involves-
Ace.
Listen, if it involves strong gravity, you know it's already going to be broken.
Yeah, that's kind of a good rule of thumb, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Gravity's kind of just one of those broken powers that never really get away from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's never not broken.
yeah. But yeah, so Blackbeard and Ace's fight is very fun and interesting. And that we actually get to see Ace's combat techniques, because this is the first time we've seen him fight seriously.
Oh, Blackbeard and Ace's fight is in Water 7. I thought it was going to be in the next arc.
Nope, post-Ennies Lobby. It is
Yeah.
the last scene of post-Ennies Lobby. before
Yeah. Last two
Philip
chapters.
Huh. Well then.
Yeah, and it does not, and we do not get the outcome of the fight. We just see their ultimate attacks clash, and then we see Ace's hat lying on the ground, and the scene, and all we get is this is the incident that started a chain of events that would shake the world.
That's not ominous at all.
Oh, definitely. But it's interesting that Blackbeard and Ace both are also people who have the D in their name.
I mean, you can kind of tell with Ace, right? Like, you can tell that Ace would have the D, if you know what I'm saying. Blackbeard's kind of a departure.
Yeah. Though that comes up more a bit later. We'll talk about that when it becomes relevant.
Lockstar, what are your thoughts on, like, this is the first time we've seen two really, really powerful Logias clash.
Well, basically, it's like, I mean, it's like, okay, Dragon Ball size fire things. Okay, gravity is always that, but it also gets me though that even with the ones we've seen, there's no guarantee we've seen a lot of them at full strength anyway. So it's hard to really tell. It was hard to really tell if it's that much better or if it's just that we haven't seen what we've gotten so far.
That's a fair point, yes.
I mean, like with what Luffy's got so far, it's like we're gonna see that go pretty far. We're gonna clearly, you know.
That's a fair point. I will say, however, with regards to that particular fight, it is kind of not a full, like, realistic depiction of what a proper fight between elite Logias looks like.
No, but it is a kind of like a sample, you could say.
Yeah, because it's, as we learn, like, so there's one thing that we're going to learn much later that's going to be very, very relevant in particular.
Yes. But yeah, Logias in a nutshell are extremely powerful, and seeing two of them clash, however briefly, is very illuminating. And it gives us a good idea of the upper middle range of the power scale in the series.
Oh yeah, though I mean, even with other things we come across so far, maybe I just misread them, but I always look at things and I'm like, okay, how are they using this wrong? How many ways can I tell right now that either there's a rule I don't know or they're using this wrong? Actually, one random fruit came up earlier where one thing came up and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's a nuke and they're not using it as a nuke.
Oh, really?
Remember the door?
Yeah. Bluno is very
air door, okay? Portal. Now, how is that not literally at the level of the gravity one right there? It's like, okay, I'm just gonna make a
it's
air.
Bluno is just really uncreative.
Like, I mean, come on. It's like all you have to do is like, just gonna make a door between, I don't know, your internal organs and the outside. You win every fight, so it's like
his
was like being bad at using your.
Here's the thing about devil fruits. I feel like the more creative you are, the stronger your devil fruit will be. Because that's the whole thing about.
That's actually almost explicitly stated.
Yeah.
Because
Crocodile says as much in Alabasta.
Yeah, it's like Luffy's fruit, for example. You'd think it's kind of just like a D-tier fruit, right? You just turn into rubber. But no, Luffy is a very good example of how just because it seems a bit silly doesn't mean it is in any way weak.
As shown with Gear 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you of course have Buggy.
And Bluno, actually. Yeah, Lockstar's right. This is something that doesn't get brought up very often, but Bluno has what is possibly one of the single strongest fruits shown in the series.
That's literally portal moving.
Yeah.
And he doesn't utilize it to its full potential at all. Which is why he gets leveled up by Luffy.
Yeah, there is no way a competent user just loses a fight. Right?
Yeah. No. Like, again.
No competent user of the Door fruit would in any point lose a fight.
If he was actually good with his fruit, he would be the strongest in CP9. Instead, he's Luffy's guinea pig to test out Gear 2.
No, not strongest in CP9. It would be like I said, door between the inside of the cranium and any given surface. Okay, that's not going to turn out well.
I mean, there's also like no clear. I mean, even just like making a door underwater neutralizes so many devil fruit users. If you just make a door underneath them and connect it to underwater,
Or, like, literally just right above the surface of the ocean, for that matter.
yeah.
We don't know the limitations on his portal ability, but he's a lot less creative with it than he should be.
Right? It's just like you give that fruit to Luffy, and I'm pretty sure the series would be like 4 million pages shorter.
Oh, I think it is unable to directly injure or kill people.
Even then, there's so many things you can do to make that.
He literally could have portaled Luffy directly into the void that is directly under them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even think of it this way, right? The fact of the matter is that fruit can be used in so many other ways that would make being a good fighter not necessary. For example, Reagan Shen, which is a reference only Mill will understand.
Yep.
That's literally...
Fuck that guy, by the way. Fuck that guy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh,
anyways.
God. Yes.
Bottom line, Bluto sucks as a devil fruit user.
Yes, he is an absolute trash fire, and there's a very good reason he's stuck as like a jobber for CP9.
Oh, well, no.
Fruit is absolute...
They do apparently say that the fight wouldn't have been as one-sided if Bluno hadn't spent 5 years as a non-combatant.
That definitely didn't help, but the fact that Luffy fights evenly with Lucci, who is like over 4 times stronger than Bluno, it was going to be Bluno's defeat, regardless.
Yeah, but at the same time, it wasn't... That's the thing, though, is it wasn't necessarily going to have to be Bluno's defeat. There were many ways in which, like, even if you gave that fruit to Lucci, I'm pretty sure he'd do better with it.
Regardless, we're running a bit long.
Yeah, we should...
Yes.
We should probably wrap it up.
We should wrap this. But yeah, finishing up, what are your overall thoughts on the saga, Logstar, including the Davy Back fight arc, because that's technically part of the saga.
Well, I mean, other than having to skip through a lot of fight scene things, I've been having fun with it. It's like it is filling out characters. We got Nico Robin to the level I was hoping we'd get her to, and yeah, and of course, then there's... Well, I just hope Frankie doesn't give me as much vicarious embarrassment from now on. I just really hope that, but
we make no promises.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I guess.
But Water 7 Saga overall does a lot to develop the characters, especially Robin.
In the world. Also, this is something that has not been addressed in series at all, but like, Frankie had to have memorized a decent chunk of the Pluton blueprint and incorporated it into the Sunny, right? Like, there's no way he didn't do that, right?
Half of me thinks he might not have done that just because of artistic originality and his desire.
There's also a non-zero possibility that he would think that he would take the lessons from Pluton and then somehow has made Sunny better.
That is neither here nor there. We can save that for the theory video.
Look, we haven't contacted the Library of Ohara person yet.
Yes.
I don't know.
Anyways,
if it's necessarily going to happen. But yes, thank you all, everyone, for joining us. I mean, if you're watching this on Twitch, please give us a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a like if possible.
Subscribe, please.
and like and subscribe and all that jazz. And
please join us, Mill and I, tomorrow when we play D&D with the rest of our group. And next week we will be doing the Spring 2021 premiere guide for anime.
yes, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Mill.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Logstar, for being our guinea pig.
You're welcome.
And have a good night, everybody.
Later.
Good night.